Hi, my name is Cristina Marrero, and this is a bonus track. So I wrote The River when I was 18, and it's a very personal story for me, specifically because I was still navigating the world as a lesbian and as female. It wouldn't be until my 19th or 20th birthday that I really started exploring the term genderqueer. There was this book that I got in my gender and sexuality class that introduced the vocabulary to me. I'd always known didn't identify as male or female exactly, but there wasn't a word for that. So I just found a niche within a community that had vocabulary until a better vocabulary came along. And for the most part, the identity of a butch lesbian fit me very well. For me, there was still something missing from it, though. It didn't feel quite right. It was like a glove that fit well enough for now, but didn't necessarily fit 100%, though I tried to make it work. I decided to keep The River, the Unsung Love Story, as the unedited second edition, despite having worked on about half of the book right now as a revision. I probably won't release that until 15th or 20th anniversary edition. I want to make sure it's right. And I want to be honest with the readership and let them read this very vulnerable first edition that may not be the best grammatically, but is completely personal and means so much to me as part of my timeline. It's a time capsule of sorts. I don't regret having navigated the world as Cristina, and I don't want to erase it. So when it came time to revise my writing career after coming out as trans, when the trauma that I went through started to kind of subdue and I could think about not just surviving but trying to thrive again, this was the biggest question. Do I still write as Cristina or do I reclaim my voice as Kent? And then I realized that binary is basic and that, quite frankly, I didn't have to choose because my gender identity doesn't even require me to subscribe to one identity alone. So I decided to keep Cristina Marrero as a pen name. I can nod to a piece of my history that is more than just a piece. I navigated the world as Cristina from my birth to about the age of 26. That is a huge chunk of my life since I'm 31 right now. So I give this book up as an offering. I give it as a piece of myself, and I give it willingly because the very small audience which I did have and continue to have today, right? The new readership that is coming in, I find that people find something to relate to with that vulnerability, and I don't ever want to take that away. It was about 2012 when I got my first Facebook message. There was this young girl in South Africa who had read my book, and that was cool enough as it was. I mean, I was, 2012, about 22, 23, and somebody wrote to me, took the time to write to me after reading my book and said that they had been debating coming out and reading my book tilted their decision that they were going to come out. And that's so powerful in itself, right? And then there was another reader who came and chatted in, and they said that they were still waiting on the sequel, which I felt terrible about because at that point I thought I was never getting my writing career back. 2020 rolls around and I start releasing my books again as time capsule pieces, as Kindle editions, so they can be filtered back into this market and hopefully somebody can find some meaning and purpose out of the vulnerability I put onto those pages. And I find out that an author friend of mine also read it at a time when he had either just come out or were coming out. And that was really powerful. And it's a reminder that the reason why I personally write, I can't speak for all authors, but the reason why I write in this genre and the reason why I write queer stories specifically, or attempt to, or try to queer heterosexual stories to some extent in the sense of ideology, not necessarily behavior. I do this because there is such an underrepresentation in the genre for truly vulnerable stories that show us while we're living and show our heartbreak, but also show our joys, right? That tell the nuances of our stories and our romances and our experiences. And I think truly it doesn't matter if I ever have full success with writing and publishing my own work, because there's I can't express to you the immense humility that comes from somebody reaching out to you and telling you that in a moment when they needed something, they found your words and it did something for them. Because at that point, it's not about you. It's just that this piece of art that flowed through you is now affecting other people. And the intentionality that you put in it, or the pieces of yourself that you put in it, had a positive effect on somebody else. And I think that's what we all want to some extent. And I don't like universals either, but there are some unifying factors in the idea of wanting to be able to leave a little piece of good in this world. So yeah, The River, the Unsung Love Story, it's more than a book for me. It is a piece of my soul. So I hope that if you have read it, you found something you could relate to in it. Um, and I hope that if you are going to read it, that you find some enjoyment in it. Because while the story may have evolved over the years, right? I think the one unifying factor with all the renditions of this story, past, present, future, is you have to be able to authentically face yourself and accept the nuances that make you you and embrace them and claim them, because there is only one you. I wrote in the dedication that this is dedicated also to anyone who has ever been forced into hiding, because you have always been enough, and I don't think I can say that clearly enough. You were always enough, and if somebody is listening to this story right now and you're still in the closet, that's okay. Everybody comes out on their own time, and if it's not safe for you to come out, or you're just not ready yet because you don't have the vocabulary for whatever reason, it's okay. I just hope one day you're able to just be your authentic self, regardless of what other people want you to be. I'm going to be releasing an audiobook of The River probably in 2021, early 2021, and I'm going to be the one narrating it. So look out for that. Other hot piece to kind of take a look at is A Rambling Wanderer's Tale. It is a book of poems that I wrote and released in 2011, and that's also a really vulnerable piece as well. I hope you enjoy it. And as always, please never hesitate to reach out. And I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day.